Hello and welcome to Back at Camp. I'm your host, Captain Don Martin, and on today's show we're going to do something special. We're actually going out on a fishing trip with Striper Hunters, my business, up here in Meadview. Now, with me today is our producer, Dan Hargrave, our cameraman, Bill Riley, and Jay Chan, and Dan's brother, Robin. What we're going to do is we're going to do an actual on-the-water fishing trip, and they're going to film it, and we're going to show you what we do on a typical Striper Hunter fishing trip. Now, right here behind me, this is what we call our board, and this is the results of the night's fishing trip. This was our last fishing trip that we had on July 14th, and you can see we had the Kinson Lee family, his wife Ruby, Jay Chan, and myself. That night we caught 129 stripers and 4 catfish in 4 hours. So you don't want to go away, because we're going to be right back. We're going to talk more about the facilities here in Meadview, and then we're going to take you on an exciting fishing trip to Lake Mead. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Okay, folks, we're going to take a walk into the garage here. This is where we keep all of our fishing equipment, including our boats. We got 2 boats up here at Meadview. We've got a jet boat that we use primarily for our striper fishing trips, and we're going to show you that one. This is a 21-foot Chico jet boat. It's powered by a Chevy V6 engine. This is what we're going to be fishing out of tonight. When we have multiple clients, we fish out of this boat because it's a lot more roomier. It'll take a lot more people, and you know, it's equipped with a V6 Chevy engine. It's got a Minn Kota trolling motor in case we ever need it. Over here we have our Skeeter bass boat. Now this is what I use when we're doing bass fishing trips, where we're only fishing 1 or 2 anglers. We use this boat right here, but you know, we're primarily doing the striper fishing trips, so we're using the big Chico boat here, and this is a lot of fun to fish out of. These guys will see a lot tonight. Okay, we're going to walk on back here, show you what else we have here in the facilities. Probably one of the most important things we have here is an ice machine that we got. And then also, let me show you a little bit more about the boat here before we go to the ice machine. This boat here, you see the fish finder on there. That tells us if the fish are below us or not, tells us the depth of the water and the temperature of the water. Like I say, it is a jet boat, and the one thing about a jet boat is there is no neutral in jet boats. It's either going forward or it's going back. So we put our equipment in here, and you'll see that we have a checklist over there. We call that Jacob's checklist for night fishing. And we're going to go through that, and we'll load the boat with everything that's up there and get things going. So, but this is what we're doing here. This is where we conduct our fishing business out of, and all those lures over there on the walls, right there, all that equipment is stuff that I have won in past fishing tournaments and whatnot. So that's what all that stuff is. We really don't use that on our striper fishing trips. You'll see tonight we use kind of just jig heads. So anyway, we're going to move on around over here, show you some of the other things. These are our 3 of our fish ice chests right here. This is where we're going to put a little ice in there, and this is where we're going to put the fish tonight, hopefully, when we catch 100 or more. This here is our striper tournament trail board right there. What I do is every year we run a little in-house contest, and whoever catches the best weight for 40 stripers, which right now is the Decker family, and they got 69 pounds and 4 ounces. And then we have a striper, the heaviest striper contest. So, and then another thing that we do is, you see the big 10 there. That's the big 10 fish that we had in our stringer. And then the last part of our contest is for heaviest catfish. Whoever wins the striper and the catfish contest actually win 25% of our cash jackpot. So, and then whoever wins the best 40, they get a free trip in 2013. So that's what we do. Here's some photos down here. We put photos of some of the recent trips that we've had, showing the different people and, you know, the things that we see out here on Lake Mead. Lake Mead is the largest man-made lake in the United States. and you know, it's full of stripers. It's estimated they have 2 to 7 million stripers in this lake at any one time, and as you see from these pictures, and hopefully tonight we're going to do our part for conservation and reduce the number of fish in this lake. So that's that part of it. We also over here we have a little board with more pictures, and then this little thing right here, this is the Beat the Captain pot. We have anglers that come up and they want to make a small wager on if they can catch more fish or a bigger fish than the captain, and so they pick the amount, and some guys say let's bet $5, and some guys say let's bet 20. I haven't lost a whole lot by what you can see right there on the board. I've done pretty well on those challenges. So that's what we do. And like I say, these are pictures of our past trips, and a lot of kids up there because we enjoy fishing with kids, and many kids, this is their first time out on the water, first time fishing out of a boat, and probably the first time they're going to catch 10 or more fish during the night. So anyway, we're going to move around a little further now. This is our ice machine. I'll say this is probably, arguably, one of the best things we got, because we make our own ice up here for these trips. We use about 100 pounds of ice a night to go out on these trips. And then over here is our fish cleaning station. This has got a commercial grinder in it so that we can use that if we need. This little collection here, these are all items that we have taken out of the stomachs of striped bass. And there's everything from rocks, mussels, and look here. How many times you seen a chicken bone? This was found in the stomach of a striper. So these are all things that, like I say, that we found in the in stripers that we've caught. We have our own washer dryer set up in here. Up here is where we keep some of the ingredients of our secret sauce, and I'll show you what that is. This is our secret sauce. This is what makes it all happen right there. That's what brings them in and gets things going. So there's a little bit of everything in there. So when we come back, we're gonna show you some more stuff. It's a good thing you can't smell this, and I'll just show it to you. There's a little bit of everything in there, but trust me when I tell you in the morning the catfish will be full of it, and we'll find some of the ingredients in there in the stomachs of the stripers we catch. Oh, here comes Tiny. Here comes Tiny. There's my rabbit. He knows. We got my pet rabbit Tiny up here. He's our little eastern cottontail. He's one of about 4 that comes here. Comes here every night to feed. Him and his brothers and sisters. He's pretty docile. He'll let you walk up pretty close to him, so he knows that we mean him no harm. And we've got a bunch of quail that come around here. They're our resident quail. So a lot of wildlife up here. And of course, we also have some ravens and some turkey vultures, and we also have some doves up here. We have quite a few up here. So Tiny's waiting to go in there. He wants to eat. Okay, folks, we're going to actually go into the house. I've disabled the alarm system so that we can get in without all the buzzers and the police showing up. This is actually it was an older trailer that we completely remodeled. Try to make it comfortable for our guests. We have in here, we have a full-size kitchen. And we've, everything in here, like I say, we've got different little adornment up here. That's the kind of lure you got to use if you want to catch fish that big. So, and there's probably actually fish in the lake that are that big. So, but we try to make it as homey as we can. People, like I say, people come up and they spend the night and whatnot. So, and we have heating and cooling here. So. So if it's early in the season, we got the heater going. If it's like midsummer, we got the cooler going, and it's really comfortable in here. Down this hall, this is the captain's quarters right here. This first room right here. This is where I stay. This is my room right here, and I got a little closet and whatnot, and we got a nice bathroom right here. Really nice, modern. We've got a shower in here, and like I say, it's kind of a nice setup in here. In this room, This is one of the rooms that we have for our guests. You know, 2 people. Pretty nice setup. Like I say, it's nice and cool in here, and this is where the couples stay. We got this. This has got a wall air conditioning unit in it, and so it's pretty comfortable. This right here will take you out to the back. Normally our guests park right here on the back porch back here, and you know, they can park here. And to cool this operation, we have 2 6500 master coolers that absolutely cool that place down where you can hang meat in it. So it's really nice. It's comfortable. Right now we get a little breeze in the afternoon. Usually our people arrive between 5 and 6 p.m. We do dinner. In this case, we're going to feed everybody out here. We're going to cook some brats out here tonight, and then we're going to get the boat loaded up, and we're going to go fishing. We're going to show you what it's like to actually be on the water with striper hunters out of Meadview, Arizona. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Don't go away. Okay, folks, we have DirecTV out here in Meadview. It's all we could get up here, so you know we got the ability. I mean, we got a nice big TV in there in the living room. Folks can watch TV if they want to while they're waiting to go fishing or when we get back. So we're going to take a walk around. We're going to show you a view that you're going to find that's just absolutely incredible. So we're going to take a little walk around up here on the hill and show you what we got up here on the top. Film this. Hello, we're up on the roof of the garage here. This is one of the most spectacular views you'll ever see. This is the Grand Wash Cliffs to the east of us over here. This is a huge fault that appeared millions of years ago that just came pushed right out of the ground. That's some beautiful country over there. Back over here to the north, you can see that flat top mountain up there. That's actually on the Arizona Strip, which is across the Colorado River. And as you pan to the left and you look there, that is all the Arizona Strip up there. That's also part of the Grand Wash Cliffs back up there that you can see way far out. In October, you can come up here and actually sleep up here on this deck. It is absolutely fantastic. So now you've kind of seen what El Campo de Pescado is. Now we're gonna, after we take a break, we're gonna get serious about this. We'll start getting some footage of us loading up the boat, what we're gonna take, and then when that sun goes down, that's when we're going out. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, here's how we do our lights at night. We do a 12-volt light that plugs in here in the boat. Up on the front, we have 12-volt receptacles up here on the front of the boat. And what we do, these are 12-volt lights, and we turn those on, and that way they shine out away from the angler. Angler sitting here, sitting there, and that light, when you got your rod tips painted white, you can see if it moves just a fraction of an inch, you'll be able to see it. So everybody on the boat, on the 4 corners of the boat here, we're going to have one of these lights. Now, let me show you something that we use. This is what we use to attract fish. It actually attracts phytoplankton and zooplankton. And that's the start of the food chain in Lake Mead. So what I do, again, this is a 12-volt setup. I plug it in, and there you have it. That's 26,000 lumens of light. And even though it's light right now, in the darkness, this thing is absolutely incredible. These lights are specially manufactured for night fishing, and we use these lights. They're called Hydroglow, and we are very proud to be using Hydroglow lights in our fishing operation. We feel that these lights bring in a lot of plankton, brings in small minnows, and subsequently the stripers are going to show up. Now the way this works is out tonight when we're on the lake, I'll let these drop approximately 6 feet underwater, tie them up to the side of the boat. So that's what we're gonna use these lights for, and then we're gonna do some chumming. When we chum, we're gonna chum with anchovy heads, and we've also got that secret sauce that you saw earlier. Between the lights, the heads, and the secret sauce, we're gonna bring the stripers up for dinner. They're going to think this is a Golden Corral buffet, going on above them, and we're going to put some fish in the boat. One of the most important things that we do here at Striper Hunters to ensure that our fish are good to eat is we ice them down. Now, what Bill's done here is he's filled up this one ice chest, but he's going to fill up these other ice chests up to those black lines that are drawn inside the bucket, and that's the base layer of ice that we put on there, and then we actually lay the stripers or catfish right on top of that. Now, when it gets near the top and full of fish, then what we do is take ice out of the ice chest that Bill's working on right now, and we lay it on top so that the fish have ice under them and on top of them, and it keeps them good and cold till we get back. Now, one of the things I always do, and I recommend this to every boater, is make yourself a checklist. And when you put stuff in the boat or you're loading it up, then you can mark it off like I do. That way you won't forget the bait. See the little sign, don't forget the bait this time? Well, guess what? So we're gonna go through and all the stuff that's been marked off are already, everything's in the boat, okay? Now, I've got the second anchor in the boat, so as soon as I get the second anchor and I get it hooked up, I tell Dan, okay, mark that off, okay? Now, the pliers down below, pliers, toilet paper, jig heads, and fish cloths we got in the boat, so mark that off. Whoa! Okay, one of the things that you'll see on this boat, you see this sign back here that says put in plugs. Now there's a story behind that, and anybody that's ever owned a boat knows what's probably going to happen here. Now this particular boat has two plugs, has plugs on each side of the jet drive, and the reason I write that on there is because one time when I was taking some friends out fishing, we got out there and I noticed that there seemed to be a whole lot of water in the boat. We went back to the dock and I subsequently found out that I'd forgot to put the plugs in. Now this is before I made the Jacobs checklist for night fishing. That was just one of the things, and you look over there, it's on there. It says drain plugs, has the number 2 in the boat. Okay folks, one of the most important things that every boater should do, and we absolutely adhere to this, is that everybody in this watercraft is going to be wearing a PFD or life jacket. Now, I've got about 15 life jackets to cover different sizes for people because it's important that a life jacket or PFD fits you. At Striper Hunters, we have life jackets for youth, we have life jackets for big guys like myself, and for everybody in between. This watercraft is also equipped, we have a couple of fire extinguishers in here. We also have an emergency flare kit back here, and we have a whistle. And we have everything. We have a horn, which is required by the U.S. Coast Guard. This boat is Coast Guard equipped with everything that they require, or Coast Guard checked with everything that they require. We've never had an accident, I'm proud to say, and like I say, but the life jackets, you got to wear them anytime this boat's working. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I prepare my bait for the trips. We use anchovies probably 90% of the time. We use cut up squid 10% of the time. Now, what you do, you want to keep these anchovies frozen. You need dry ice because if you don't keep these on dry ice or underneath dry ice, these things are going to thaw out. And when those stripers hit them, you'll get one bite out of them. So the first thing I do is, and a lot of guys use the heads. I don't. I use the heads for what I call broadcast chum. In other words, I use it to throw it out on the water to try and get the stripers in and into a feeding mode. And usually this really helps. So what I do is I go through and I cut all the heads off the stripers. I usually do 2 pounds at a time. 2 pounds of striper or 2 pounds of anchovies will give you ultimately 1 quart of cut up bait. Okay, what we've got here now is we've got the heads cut off of 2 pounds of anchovies. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these up in the size that we're going to use for bait tonight. Now generally I try to cut at least 3 pieces. And those are the 3 pieces that I try to cut right there. That's the size, about 1 inch. Then what you want to do is you cut them up like that. Do it as fast as you can. Don't cut your finger off. The secret is make sure these things stay frozen. Because if they're not frozen, you're not going to be able to get a lot of life or a lot of use out of them when they're in the water. Because the water is over 80 degrees, it's going to thaw them out. And you want to make sure that they're frozen, but not so frozen that you can't get a hook through them, but frozen enough that they stay on the hook. Normally, when you get here, I'll already have the bait cut. We're doing this just so that you can see how we process the bait. And this is what one angler in the boat's going to have to start with, all this bait. And believe me, some nights they use it all. Okay, this is the standard jig head that we use. It's manufactured by Canyon Lures here in Kingman. I had these made. I had special hooks put in them. But these are 1/4 ounce heads. You can use them for tubes, but I found these work really good on these stripers. Now here's what you do. The way you hook your bait is you go like this. You come in about the width of this, of the shank, like that, and now the anchovy is slightly thawed out a little bit. Okay, so you're going to push that in there. Watch out that you don't go through your finger, because you can sure do that. Okay, now I've came through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm merely going to run this back like this and push it back in there like that, burying the hook in there, and then that piece of bait sitting there like that. When he comes up, the warm water is going to thaw this. When he comes up and grabs that and starts to eat it, then when you jerk it, that anchovy will dissipate and you'll be able to set the hook. And that's how it looks. One of the things that I do is I paint the ends of my rod tips. Now, some people think that this is a bad thing, but I'm telling you, this is a Fenwick rod right here. It's a $200 rod. This is another high dollar rod, and they're both painted. Doesn't cause any problems to the rods. If you don't like it, when you're done, take some acetone, it'll take that paint right off. I use 99-cent Walmart paint, and the reason I paint these is when you'll see tonight, when those poles are sticking out, you'll be able to see the slightest bite on those, whereas if they're dark, you're fishing in the dark or the semi-dark, they're a lot harder to see. You'll see tonight, you'll be able to see these rod tips much, much better. Don't be afraid to paint your rods. It's not going to hurt. Now, don't put your line through till the paint dries. That's an important tip. Don't forget your white paint. Tonight we had bratwurst cooked on the grill out there by Jay Chan, and then we had pork and beans to kind of top it off. We're not eating a real heavy dinner because we're going to be on the water for about 8 hours or so. So normally what we do is we either cook dinner here or we go down to the local restaurant, Nancy Lou's, and we go down there and have dinner. So that's pretty standard before we go out. Like I say, it's no rush. You know, we just need to get out there at night. I like to go a little later because the wind dies down and the boat ride's not so rough. So, you know, you have plenty of time to eat and enjoy yourself and socialize a little bit and talk to people and find out where they're from and what they do, and it's kind of nice. Here we are. We're in the water. We got everybody on the boat here. We're all life jacketed up. We're getting ready to head out. Next stop will be the honey hole, and it'll be time to catch stripers.
So we got the lights in the water.
Both sides? Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We are setting up the food chain.
Okay, here guys, I'm going to give you a towel for each side. So you see some of the bigger fish swimming around?
Oh yeah. Oh, I imagine, what, Jay, 2 o'clock? Where's your big one, Jay? There's yours right there.
Yeah. Are you ready? You want to plug in
Yep.
now? Or you want to get past this up?
Here, pass this up. See how that's, how, okay, that goes on your
Do
side.
you want this to be back towards the back or both facing the
It
same
needs
direction?
a kind of. All right, folks, here we are. We're set up. We've got the lights in the water. We're anchored up. We sure could use some wind, but no excuses. The little minnows are already around the light. We're getting ready to start catching fish real quick. Now, Mr. Bill.
Yeah.
Your first test.
Chum?
Yep.
So Bill's gonna chum.
His order.
3 chum loads.
Oh, you got that bucket of chum.
Yeah. Look at that. I'm in the sewer.
As far as you can throw it, Mr. Bill.
You can throw it farther than that.
Now,
The spoon is very
you're gonna
flexible.
sit there. You're gonna
Well,
sit
use your
there,
hand then.
light down and point
Yeah,
it.
right.
You can hear the beeper. We're in 81 feet of water. That beeper is the sound of the sonar bouncing off the fish. That tells us there's fish underneath us. As I see on the screen, the fish are all down on the bottom, and they're probably inactive. But with our chum and our lights, we'll start bringing them up, and by morning they'll be all around the boat. So that's a good thing. We know we're good to go, and we got lots of fish. Now all we got to do is catch them. Well, here we go. Been here about 10 minutes. Finally got a bite and got a fish. So not a big one, but this is just about an average one. And here we go. The first fish in the boat of the CATV trip. There you go. That's kind of a small one, but that's probably about an average fish for most of the time.
What was that?
Whoa! That sounded like Bill Riley just fell in the lake.
Yes.
Was that a fish?
Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to get these off. Okay, you always use a hand cloth. We use old towels. Okay, you reach up and you immobilize the fish like that. You grab him. Now I always use a pair of grippers here. You can use needle nose pliers. Reach down inside, and you want to grab on to the shank of the hook, not the head. And you just push and turn, and it comes right out. And there's our first striper. And we put it right on ice. There's fish number 1.
Hey, second fish of the night.
What'd you catch, Dan?
Striper,
There you go. Okay.
Bite number 2
Huh?
number 2.
on the
All right. Sounds good. Okay, just got a catfish. Lake Mead catfish. There we go. That's a typical Lake Mead catfish right there.
Here's another striper.
Oh, Jay Chan's got one. That's why.
You
Yeah.
have your steel pan.
Yeah, I got my, but I should have brought my. Should have brought my video. Okay, hold him up here and let me get a picture. Okay, here we are. This is my second daily double of the night. I fished with 2 poles, and there's 2 fish. So that's proof you can. It's tough to fish with 2 poles and get them both, but there you go. That one's kind of skinny. This is a nice chunky fish. You got, see, look. There he is. Now,
Where's your little?
here. You should be able to get that real easy. Got Robin with his first striper of the night. I thought he was going to run off with it. He kept saying, no, no, and I kept saying, jerk, jerk. There you go. Okay, now grab him by the lower
You
lip.
got one, Bill?
Grab him by the lower lip.
Yeah, just put your thumb in his mouth. Here we go. Okay, now turn him up. Okay, stand up. Just give me a picture. First striper. All right, here we go.
There
There.
he is. He's in the
There we
boat.
go. Jan. Oh, yeah. Oh, getting bit. Oh, no, I think it was. Oh.
Big old catfish.
All right, here's a pretty good. Now this is a pretty good striper for Lake Mead, folks. So that's a pound-and-a-half fish right there. So, and then Robin, he come right in there. Look at here, right here next to each other. So
This catfish is.
this catfish, that's pretty good catfish.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought I was getting hit during all this fiasco here.
Let's see that one. Oh wow, yeah.
Oh, he's got a little one.
Where's the big one? Is that the big one right there?
There's the big one. This is not good. Okay, this is that one. Well, he chummed. Okay, that one's off. Hold on. Some sort on there. Big catfish.
Look at that.
Big
Good.
catfish.
Somebody get the net.
Hey, Chan. Chan, if they would have put their $20 in, if they would have been in the contest, we probably have a new leader right there.
Can somebody get a net?
Net.
The net's.
Net. That fish weighs over 2 pounds. That's going to cost you. You're going to lose about $150. Think you'll go 2?
That's a good fish right there. Yeah, he'll go. He's gonna go 2.
Because if he's over 2, that's what the leaderboard was. Oh yeah, that fish would be.
That is, boy, it's great here. Stuff some more chum down him.
He's full of chum. Okay, folks, it's the morning after. We went out last night. We fished from about, roughly 11:30 to about 5:30. Tough night. Didn't catch as many fish as we wanted, but everybody caught fish, and the results are right here in this ice chest. What we do know is, good thing Jay Chan was with us, because he led the parade last night. We're not sure how many fish he caught, but we think he caught over 35, so which is pretty typical for him. So anyway, we got the fish iced down. We're going to lay them out here, get some pictures of them, weigh them, and then we'll see exactly how much weight we got. Okay, one of the things we do is we keep each ice chest for each angler so we can figure out how many fish each angler caught. This right here is what I caught last night. Official count is 24 stripers and 4 catfish. Now, I did catch another one, did get it into the boat, but our good buddy Robin, when I handed it to him, somehow managed to let him go back into the lake. So we can't count it here, or I would have had my 29th, but he's still swimming out there. So that's mine. Now we're going to check and see how many fish Jay caught. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Okay, we just counted out Jay's fish. Our total fish that was in Jay's ice chest was 34 stripers and 4 channel cat, but we know that 4 of those were Dan's. So Jay caught 30 stripers and 4 channel cats, so he ended up with 34. So he was looks like he's our top angler tonight. Now we're going to count out the camera crew and friends and see how they did. And here, Okay, folks, this is the final tally that we got. We ended up with 89 fish last night, which is pretty much average. We usually average between 80 and 100 fish on a trip, so 89 is pretty close. The catfish king was Robin. Robin got, he got about 10 or so channel cat last night. So that's a pretty good turnout. They got a couple of big stripers. We didn't catch any giant stripers last night, but we caught a lot of good eating fish. So like I say, just a typical night on South Cove at Lake Mead with striper hunters. And if you come out, you know, hopefully you'll do at least this good and maybe even better. So now
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun going out.
Had a great time. Yes.
we saw a lot of fish swimming, didn't we?
So many fish you couldn't count them all.
Yeah, a lot of fish. So good time was had by all, and like I say, this is what you can expect when you come up and go on a trip with striper hunters. Folks, this is Jay Chan, our master angler up here, and he's going to give you the total numbers for the trip. We've got them all weighed and sorted. Jay, tell us how we did last night.
Well, here's the outcome. We got a total of 70 stripers and 19 catfish. The big catfish was 1 pound 6 ounces. The big striper was 2 pounds 2 ounces. And the best 10, or the best 10 largest fish were 16 pounds 4 ounces, and the best 40 fish were 52 pounds 12 ounces. So I mean, it's about an average night. So
It's, if you look at the board up there, remember we videotaped the board, and you look, and currently the leaders up there was 69 pounds 4 ounces. So we were 17 pounds less than what's on the leaderboard. But still, this is a good average night. This tells you, you know, what you could expect out of those 89 fish. Our best 40 stripers, like I say, were 52 pounds and 12 ounces. So now we're going to go put them out there on the grip and grin board, take some pictures there, then we're going to bring them in, and then we'll show you how we fillet a striper in 12 or in 21 seconds. Well, folks, here we have what we call the grip and grin board, and this is a tally and a display of all the fish that we caught on the CATV 57 fishing trip. As you can see, all the names are listed, all the data's right there. So anyway, this is what we do after every trip, so to document how many fish that we caught during your trip. So there it is, and we hope you come out and join us one day, and we'll put your name up here on the grip and grin board. Okay, folks, here's the most interesting part, the actual filleting of the fish and making the catch ready to be ate. I'm going to do the fillet. Jay's going to take the ribs out, and we're going to show you how we process both a striper and a catfish. So pay attention here. Always use an electric knife. Forget the old days of the single knives. I use a Rapala electric, and this one's a new one, and this is really helpful in processing fish. First thing you do is you make a cut, and then you come right along the spine till you get to the tail. Just simply flip it over, come back like that. Now, in Arizona, if you're at home, you don't have to leave any skin on for identification purposes. But if you're out in the field somewhere and you want to fillet these, then you have to leave a identifiable piece of skin on here. So what we'll do on this is we just go like this. We leave a piece of skin so that the game and fish could identify this as a striper fillet. Now, I give that to Jay. Jay, show them what you do.
So what I do is I actually take the knife and go underneath the rib cage just like this and slightly angle the knife and basically separate it, and what you have is a completed fillet.
And now he's going to put them in there, and what we do is we wash them, and then we put them in gallon bags, and then we put them on ice for the trip home. So this is what we would do. This is how we would process a fillet right there. We'd clean it all off, make sure you get any scales or anything. There's a fillet. That's a pure fillet right there. There's some great eating right there. And then what Jay does until he's ready to get a gallon of them, he puts them right there in the ice. And again, that keeps them firm and keeps them going. Now we'll do this other side and we'll see how this goes. Okay, again, behind the gill plate, come right down the spine to the back, to the tail, come off like that. You can flip it over, start right up there, tip of your fillet knife, come back like that. Now, again, we're gonna save some skin. So we cut a little bit of skin. There's that fillet. Now, Jay's gonna do his thing again.
And again, what I do is I take the knife edge, put it on the back side, and just slightly angle the knife and remove that rib cage, just like that.
Wash it off.
And then it's ready to be placed on ice and then packaged.
And there you go. Now that's the way to do a striper. Now, an old striper guy once told me that when you fillet a striper, the way you tell if you've done it right is you should be able to hold the carcass up to the light and see the skeleton and see plumb through it. Let's see if we did this one right. You can see all the bones right there, okay? We did not waste any meat at all. This fish is every bit of usable meat, and this is the way we process them up here at Striper Hunters. So, and you can see right through them. So the one thing that I also do is I also check the stomachs. Now, in this case, this one has something in its stomach, so I'm going to find out what they're eating. I'm going to say it's probably our chum. And look, it's a piece of anchovy. That's what we used for bait last night. That's what this fish. Now, what I do is I use the stomach contents like this, my chum and anything else in the stomach, and I put it in my chum bucket, and then we throw this over like that. We take the carcass. The carcasses go in here. We have a disposal site out here behind the house, and we have about 50 ravens and turkey vultures who really appreciate us processing these fish, and we give them to them, and then within a day they're all gone. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a channel cat. You saw how we did the stripers. Now we're going to do a channel cat. Now you do them a little bit different. So here we have our channel cat. Now channel catfish have a big row of ribs right here, and there's no meat on them. So what you do is you come back here behind this dorsal fin, and you just kind of come down. You go down and you come to the spine, and again, follow the spine down to the end, flip it over, come like this, and you want the knife blade in between, and then what you can do, again, leaving a little hide on if you're not at home. Okay, now there's a striper or a channel cat fillet. Now I give this to Jay. Jay, do you have to do anything with this one now?
On these, we don't do anything. One of the reasons is because there is no rib cage, as Don mentioned before. He's actually cut the section of the fillet behind the rib cage. So this fillet is ready to be cleaned and then put on ice.
Okay.
Packaging.
Okay, now we're going to do the other one. Again, we're coming right here, right behind that dorsal fin. You come down, you'll feel the backbone. Just simply slide your knife like that, flip them over, come back like this, taking it almost to the end. And there you go. Now, Jay, if there's a little bit of skin on there, Jay can take that off, or he can leave it. And then when they get home, when you get the fillet home, but look at this. That is a pure catfish fillet right there. Now, I'm going to show you what else we do. With catfish, we're going to try to see what they've been eating. So I come in here with a fillet knife, and I go like this, and I split them open. Now, here, you're going to get to see, this is what is in that striper stomach. You might notice some of the chum stuff. We chummed with the heads. There's pieces of corn, pieces of our chum. There you go. Why'd that catfish get caught? That catfish was swarming under the boat, was picking all this up, and then one of the anglers, their bait dropped in front of it, and there it goes. So there's a little bit of everything there, and again, that goes right into the chum bucket. So that's how we do a catfish. same thing. If you look at it, you can see the whole skeleton there, and there's no wasted meat at all. So that's how you do a channel catfish. That's how you do a striper. When you come on our trips, we'll take care of these fish for you, and we'll send you home with bags of fillets, and they'll be on ice and ready for you to package for individual meals. That's how we do it at Striper Hunters. Okay, we just filleted this catfish, and like I say, I always check their stomach, and look what we got in this one's stomach. I've never seen this in a catfish before, but look. A purple plastic worm was in this catfish's stomach. Now, it was really blocking the catfish's ability to process food, but that is a perfectly good worm right there that that catfish ate, and that's a bass worm. But that's, you can see there's some other, this is what else was in its stomach, that it was down there and it was feeding on our chumps. So that's what it is. Okay folks, here's what I just found in a big striper. 2 completely intact crawdads. Now if you're a bass fisherman, you want to look at the color of those, because when you're using tubes that imitate crawdads, you want to look at those colors right there, because that tells you what the natural color phase of the crawdads are. But now what am I going to do with those? Right into the chum bucket. Folks, we're at the end of another successful striper adventure with Striper Hunters out of Meadview. We hope you enjoy our show. If you want to go fishing, give me a call, 928-681-4867. Until next week, this is your host, Don Martin, saying keep your fishing line fresh, your firearms oiled, and we'll see you next week back at camp.